Good morning, guys. This video is going to be pretty quick. It's just going to just introduce to you how to prove lines are parallel. There are on the packet. There's only A, B, C. I just need you to add D. There's going to be 4 different ways to do this.
Okay. Basically, the way to prove these things are parallel are going to be pretty much the reverse of the different angle pairs. So the first one is going to be converse, and we'll start with corresponding angles postulate. All right, so if we go back to what the original postulate says, the original postulate says if lines are parallel, then corresponding angles are congruent. It says like if parallel lines are being cut by a transversal, then corresponding angles are congruent. Now in reverse, basically, what we're going to be saying is that if corresponding angles are congruent, then the lines are parallel. Now the actual theorem's a little bit more wordy. It says if lines are cut by a transversal and corresponding angles are congruent, then the lines are parallel. But you get the point with this many words. All right, so that's the first option. The second option, is going to be converse. It's just going to be, again, the converse of all of the different theorems. Next is going to be converse. I'll go with alternate interior angle theorem. And it basically says if your alternate interior angles are congruent, then the lines are parallel. Excuse me. You have converse alternate exterior angle theorem. And it says if alternate exterior angles are congruent, then the lines are parallel. And the last one is going to be converse. Same, let me use a different color here. Converse. This one's going to be same side interior angle theorem. And for that one, it's going to be, this is the only one that's a little bit different, and that's because the same side interiors are the only ones that are not congruent. They're the ones that are supplementary. So it's going to say if same side interior angles are supplementary, then the lines are parallel. Excuse me. All right, so again, the reason for these is to basically let us know that if you have these congruent angles, then you can automatically conclude that the lines are parallel. So again, these are our 4 options: converse corresponding, converse AIA, converse AEA, and converse SSI. So let's do a couple of practice problems with this. Now, if we look at the first diagram here, again, so the difference here is that for number 1, these lines are not marked parallel. They don't have these markings. So at this point, because they're not parallel, we could not make any of the angle connections. We couldn't say SSIs are supplementary. We can't say AIs are congruent. We can't do any of that unless we know excuse me, the lines are in fact parallel. So to start here with the first example, the angle pair that's here with the 110s, these are AIAs. So they are in fact congruent. So because the AIAs are congruent, we can now say A is parallel to B. So with the problems you'll see on today's quiz and the problems you'll see in today's homework, it's, as you can tell here, it says, are the lines parallel? It's like two pieces. And then it says, if yes, why. If it's a no, you don't have to, give a why. It's just no. Excuse me. But if it is yes, you need to not only say yes, but you need to say the method. So it's going to be, let me make sure that's clear. This is saying A is parallel to B. And the reason is going to be converse. You got to have the reason. And this is going to be AIA. So since these alternate interior angles are congruent, that's enough information for us to conclude that the lines are now parallel. Let's look at the next one, number 2. So for number 2, there's no numbers here. Excuse me. But these two corresponding angles are marked congruent. So as long as the corresponding angles are congruent, that's enough for us to conclude that the lines are parallel. So for 2, it's going to be A is parallel to B, and it's going to be converse corresponding. You don't have to write correspond. Actually, this one is the postulate. You don't have to write the whole angles postulate. You can just say converse corresponding. That'll be enough for me. Sorry, as soon as I start recording, I start yawning. For number 3. So for number 3, if we look at this, these are again AIAs. I'm sorry, these are again corresponding. But this time they are not congruent. So we would say, no, they're not parallel. Because again, if the corresponding angles are not congruent, then they're not parallel. All right, we'll do the next 6 here and then skip along. For number 4, these are same side interiors. Now, since they're both 7x, that's saying that they're congruent. The issue is same side interiors shouldn't be congruent. We need them to be supplementary. So we would say not parallel here. For number 5, again, this is also just like 4, a pair of same side interiors. Now, same side interiors, again, should be supplementary. So this time when we add that up, we do get 180. So that means they are parallel. We're going to say A is parallel to B, and the reason is converse, same side interior angle theorem. Now for number 6. Oh my gosh, sorry. For number 6, before you say no or yes, you first want to make sure this is a pair. Like right now, this is nothing. These are not a pair at all. They're not AIAs. They're not AEAs. They're not SSIs. And they're not corresponding. So since they're none of those right now, let's try to see if we can get that to happen. Let's see if we can get them to be one of those. Because that's the only way we would know for sure that it was a no. So let's check. So what I do know, sorry for yawning again. What I do know is that vertical angles are congruent. So because of that, I can take this angle and bring it over here. So I know that this is also going to be the same. Now, these are same side interiors. So now I've found a pair. But same side interiors, again, should not be congruent. They should be supplementary. So we're going to say not parallel. So again, even though it might seem obvious because they're not a current pair, it's not always a given. So you always want to try to possibly bring it back to one of the angle pairs. That way you'll be more sure of the answer. All right, I lied. We're going to do these last 3 and then we'll move on. For number 7, For number 7, these are vertical angles, and vertical angles is no converse vertical angle theorem. So for this one, it's going to be not parallel. Excuse me. Number 8 is going to be also not parallel. And that's because these are correspondings, and the corresponding angles should be congruent, and they're not, because this has one arc and this has two. And for the last one here, number 9, number 9 is similar to number 6 in that right now this is not any of the pairs. Again, our goal is to get it to AIAs, AEAs, corresponding, or SSI. That's our goal, to try to get it to be one of those. So right now, this is nothing. Some students like to think that there's a pair of angles called same side exteriors, but that doesn't exist. So we need to get it to be one of these. Now we can do that because vertical angles because vertical angles will bring this over here, so this is 74, and vertical angles will bring this over here, so that's 106. So then once you have the 74 and the 106, these are same side interiors at this point, and now we add that up, we get 180, which is what they should be. So we do have enough. So it's going to be A is parallel to B, converse, SSI. So again, that's the reason I said for something like number 6, you don't want to just immediately say no because it's not one of the pairs. You want to try to see if it's possible to connect it to become one of the pairs before you give like a final yes or no. At this point, pause your video and see if you guys can do this next page. It's again just pretty much the same as the first page, just asking why are the lines parallel. And again, if it is a yes, say why. If it's no, you can just write no. So pause your video. It shouldn't take you too long. Take about 2-3 minutes to try to do page 2. All right, so here are the answers for 1 through 6. Hopefully you guys got these answers. Wait a second or two so you can check them all. Again, you can pause your video and make sure you got these all right. All right, gonna move it down some. Here are the next 3. Here's the next 3 after that. Okay, so hopefully you were able to master page 2. Take a couple more minutes and practice the next page. Actually, I don't think it's the next page. Let me double check. Yeah, so that's enough for now. Just we'll stop this video and we'll just come back and work on a few of these together.